Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Viraj and today we guys are going to discuss something about a list. List is one of the data type in Python. List is mutable, means we can modify or we can delete the elements from the given list. List can hold any kind of data or elements which can be integer, string, float, boolean, even list and etc. List is ordered collection of elements list allows to store duplicate elements. List supports indexing and slicing. Syntax: variable name equal to list opening closing. This will create empty list, or we can say that variable underscore name equal to opening closing square bracket. So there are two types of syntax we can use it. We can use a list class or we can use a opening closing square bracket. This is how we can define an empty list. Even this is an empty. This is an empty list. Okay. Nums equal to list opening closing. Run this. So we can say that nums is a list type of variable. Nums contain nothing. Right now there is nothing inside it. If I am dumping a num, it is empty opening closing square bracket. For example, if I wanted to validate the type of the nums, whether it is a list or a what, so what we can use a built-in function which is going to be type nums and run this list. We can see the list. Similarly, L1 opening closing square bracket. L1 is a list type of variable. L1 is empty list. If I'm doing a L1 opening closing square bracket and L1, we can see this. So we can simply say that even though, like, if we are using input number 1 and input number 4, both are pointing to the list only. Similarly, if I'm creating L2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, run this. L2 is a list. L2 contains integer type of elements. L2, and let's run this. We can see something like this. Similarly, L3, we can have a comma B, comma C, comma D, comma E. We can have as many elements as we want, and you can see that these elements are in ordered, in a sequence. The way we have defined it, it is going to result or return in a same order. So if I'm doing a L3 is again a list, but which contain a string type of elements. And you can see that A, B, C, D, E, and the way it is dumping it when we are doing a L3, it is in a same order or same sequence. This has happened because of the indexing. So what we have written in above, so it support indexing and slicing. So what I can do with the L3, I can do something like a 0, which will print a A. If I'm doing a L3 minus 1, which will going to print a E, Similarly, if I'm doing opening closing colon colon, which will print all the elements, L3 colon colon 2, which will going to skip a one element at a time. So what it is going to do, it is going to print a A, then skip a B, then print a C, then skip D, and lastly E. So A, C, E will get dumped. Similarly, if I'm doing a colon colon minus 2, what it is going to do, it is going to print a ECA. ECA with the negative fashion. We have already seen the indexing and slicing in detail in previous sessions. If you haven't watched that video, please go and watch. Okay. Then we are going to discuss something on a built-in function of list. Built-in function of a list class or list data type, we can say that. How to print it? First of all, how we are going to dump or print all the built-in function from a list family, dir L3, or even we can write it a list only. Anyway, it is fine. You can write a L1, L2, L3, nums or anything and run this. Or before running that, we can use a print actually. We want everything in a consolidated. The output should be in a consolidated. Otherwise, it will print on every element on a new line. Okay. What is this? Double underscore at a start and double underscore at a end. These are called as a dunder method or a double underscore method. For time being, we are going to ignore it. Ignore these things. We are going to discuss something about append, clear, copy, count, extend, index, insert, pop, remove, reverse and sort. Let's see all the built-in function one by one. List dot, I will write a append. In order to understand or in order to learn any built-in function, one recommendation that I can give it to you, that you can always do the help list dot append. Similarly, for a tuple, dictionary, set or anything you wanted to learn. So help is actually helping us as a developer to know the functionality of that particular attribute, method or class or something like that. So if I am running this, it shows some meaningful information to us. What is this exactly the append is all about? Append object to the end of the list. So what I am having L3, and for example, if I wanted to add a F and I want to add that element at a last, so append is going to useful. So how we can do that? L3 dot append. Why L3? Because L3 is a list type. Append is a built-in function of a list. And what we can pass a O element. What we can pass? We can pass a O element which is going to be F and L3. What will happen if I wanted to pass a G and H at a time? Append G, H. I will end up with the error. Let's see that. You can see that type error, list append, take exactly one argument, and how many we have passed? We have passed 2. How this is possible? This is possible because of this, and that's why we end up with this type of error. That's why I told you that append or whatever the help documentation we have executed on a input number 17. Help list append, and you can see that it accepts only one thing, that is a one object. What we can say that F is an object. Even you can pass only G or you can pass a H. You cannot pass more than one element. For example, if I'm doing a L3 dot append, if I just do the G and it executes, and we can see that A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Similarly, we can add a H as well. We can add a H as well, and we can see the L3. We can see when we defined this L3, which has only 5 elements, and now it grows to like almost 8 elements. A to H. And how this is possible? Because of append. We are adding the element at a last. Similarly, we can go for a next function, which is a clear. What this clear means? Clear means what? Clearing all the elements from the given list. Again, what we can do? We can simply list dot clear, mark down, run this. We are going to maintain a nodes at the same time. List dot clear, run this, and we can see that remove all the item from list. So for example, nums is my list which is right now empty. What I can do, I can add elements to it. What I can say that 10. On a next line I will write a nums dot append 20 and nums dot append 30. And now we can see the nums. Nums contain three things, 10, 20, 30. And if I wanted to remove all of them at a one go, how I can do that? Nums dot clear and run this. And again, if I'm dumping a nums, you can see the empty. The reason is this clear method is going to remove all the elements from this list. All the elements from this particular list. This is how we can use a clear. The next is a copy. Maintaining another copy of your list. How we can do that? List dot copy help list dot copy, and let's run this. Return a shallow copy of a list. How we can do this? So what we have L3. If I wanted to make a one more copy as a L4 equal to L3 dot copy. Now L4 will have a same elements. L4 will have a same element. So it is a shallow copy of L3. Shallow copy of L3. This is how we can maintain a one more copy of L3 in a L4. The next method is count. So count will help to count the occurrence of an element. Count the occurrence of specific element. List.count help list.count return the number of occurrence of a value. So what I can do, nums equal to 10, 20, 30, 10, 20, 10, 10, 10 and 40 and 50. So we have a couple of elements. We have a couple of elements in this particular list. And nums is a list and which contain a couple of elements. So how we can do that? How we can count the number of time, like how many times the 10 is occurring? If I wanted to count the 10 is occurring how many times, like I can do something like nums dot count and value. So I want to count the 10 is occurring how many times. So I can run this and I can get a 5. Nums dot count 20 2 times. Nums dot count 30 1 time. Nums dot count 100. But the 100 is not available in this entire list. What will it is going to return? It is going to return a 0 because it is not available. It is not present over there. So that's why what it is going to do, it is going to return a 0. So this is how the count works. Count doesn't give any error. Count doesn't give any error, guys. It just gives the 0 if the element is not available in that particular list. And it counts the occurrence of element. Extend. Extend is really important. Like append what append the element at a last, but with the problem with the append is what we can append only one element at a time, but if I wanted to merge or if I wanted to extend a specific list, how we can do that? Then the something is a extend that we want. Let's run this. Extend a list by appending the element from the iterable. What it means, if I'm having something like L1, L2, L1 equal to 10, 20, 30, and what I'm going to have L2 equal to 40, 50 and 60 and 70, for example. There are two lists, L1 and L2. How we can use that? L1 dot extend L2. What will happen when L1 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 and L2 remain as it is. What we are saying in input number 49, we are saying that all the element from the L2 get added to the L1, So then this is nothing but the concatenation, and that will get stored into again L1. So that's why we are able to see in a input number 50 L1 as a 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 and 70. So this is how the extend works. Extend allow user to add a more than one element, whereas in append we add only one element at a time. Similarly, guys, index will help us to identify the element index position. So list.index, list.index, again help, list.index, it will return the index value of particular value. It accepts the value, and what it is written, it is returning the index value of it. So for example, in L1 what we have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. For example, if L1 dot, if I'm doing something like a index of 20, I wanted to do. So what it should be? It should be positive 1. You can see this. If I'm doing a L1 dot append, if I'm doing a 30. So what will happen? The 30 is at a index position 2 as well as a index position 7. So like if I can see that 2 and L1 7. On the both the position 30 is available. So if I do the something like L1 dot index of 30, what it is by default it is going to print? It is going to print a 2. If I don't want this 2, I want after 2 whatever the index comes. So what I will do, L1 dot index 30 as a value, and I will say that from search from third index to the last index, and it will print a 7. So that's why I'm going to use this start point and stop point. So you can see that by default the start point is a 0 and end point is something 9, 2, 2, 3, 3, 7, 2, 0, 3, 6, 8, 5, 4, 7, 7, 5, 58, 0, 7. The huge number. So it will travel those many elements. It will travel those many elements. What will happen? Like if the value is not there, raise a value error if the value is not present. So for example, L1 dot index of 100. 100 is not available in this particular list. You can see that there is no 100 available. So what will happen? It will return a value error. So value error 100 is not in a list. So guys, errors are meaningful. Errors are meaningful. That will help us to understand the problem. So by reading this error, we can immediately solve that whatever the value we are passing, that is not appropriate. So next time when you end up with the error, just look at carefully, read that particular error and try to solve it. Let's go further. Insert. So insert will allow us to add the element at a specific position. So what problem we are facing with the append? Append will add the element at a last only. Append will add the element at a last. So append will add the element at a last. So for example, L2 is there. So if I wanted to add a 45 after 40, if I wanted to add a 45 after a 40, how I can do that? L2 dot insert. What kind of index value it will be? It will be the index value 1. And what kind of value I wanted to add? A 45 as a value. And if I'm doing this L2, I can see that 40, 45, 50, 60, 70. For example, if I wanted to add a 65 in between 60 and 70, how I can do that? L2 insert. So what will be the index value? 4. On a fourth index value, how I am going to do it? 0, 1, 2, third, and on a fourth index value I wanted to add it. So that will be this, and 65. What kind of value I wanted to add? 65. And I can do this and I can print a L2. This is how we can use an insert. So there are advantages of using append, and there are some advantages of using insert. So with the insert we can choose the specific index value. However, with the append we don't have that facility. We need to use a by default, which is going to be last. Then we are having a pop. List dot pop. Help list dot pop. We can see that by default it is removing last element. Remove and return an item at the index value. This index is nothing but the by default minus, which is a last. Raise index error if the list is empty or index is out of range. For example, L2 is there, So L2 dot pop, if I'm not passing any value, what will happen? It will by default remove the 70. And if you dump L2 again, you will found that 40, 45, 50, 60, 65. If you do the L2 dot pop 2, what will it is going to do? It is going to remove the second index value. So what it is going to be? It is going to be 50. It will get removed. So we can see that we are passing index value, and in return what we are get actual value. We are getting actual value, and we can do this L2 and we can see this 50 is no longer available in this particular list. Dot pop, run this, L2 dot pop, run this. There are two elements only, pop, we can see that again, and L2, and now there is only one element, L2 dot pop, L2 there is no element in. Again if I'm doing it, I will end up with the one error, and that error is nothing but an index error, pop from empty list. Even we can see this, raise an index error, and what kind of error we are getting? Index error only. So in a help documentation you get a majority of our stuff. So what exactly going to happen and how to use it as well. Similarly, there are a few more functions. Remove, list dot remove, help list dot remove. We can see that remove actually first occurrence of a value. So difference between the pop and remove is pop takes the index value and remove takes the actual value. Remove takes the actual value. So for example, if you have a L3, so for example, if I wanted to or L1 for L or L2, we can write it. Okay, L2 is no longer there. Okay, L3 is there. So L3, from L3, if I wanted to remove B, so what I am going to pass? I am going to pass a B itself. L3 and B is there. B is no longer available. L3 remove, again if I am typing a B, what will happen? Value error. So what X means? X means nothing but the what you are passing a whatever thing is not in a list. So this particular B is no longer available in this list, or there is no element present like B in this L3. So what this error means? Guys, sometimes we have to relate these things. We have to relate this X, okay, relate this X to the B and so on. And this is how we are going to do in a company as well. So whenever you are writing a piece of code, you have to relate it to the, okay, so what this error is all about and how we are going to solve this. So what I am going to do, I'm not able to remove the B. The reason is B is not available. So what I can remove? I can remove the A, C, D, E, F, G, H. All these elements I can remove it, and in any order. If the element is duplicated, for example, append A, L3 append D. So I can see that A is duplicated and D is duplicated. So for example, L3 dot remove, if I am doing something like a D, which D is going to get removed? The first occurrence. So even in a help documentation, you can see that first occurrence will get removed. First occurrence will get removed. This is because of what? Because of the functionality of a remove is written. And L3, you can see this, only one D is get deleted or removed from the list. Again if you do the remove D, now this time it will remove the last one, L3. There is no D available now. There are only two Ds are like was there. Now we have removed the both of them. So this is how the remove functionality works, or built-in function works. Then reverse will reverse the entire list. So list dot reverse, list dot reverse, and what we need to pass? We need to pass this to the help actually. So if I am taking again L3 dot reverse and run this, we are not able to see anything, but actually the changes are made, and you can see that A, G, F, E, C, A, and so you can see this. It is reversed. Again, if you do the L3, it will remain. The changes are persistent actually. If you do the reverse again, then it will again make it original. Means original means what? The way we have defined and the way we have written. You can see this. This is how we can use a reverse. And the last function or last built-in method remain from this list family, which is going to be sort. So list dot sort markdown help list dot sort. So we can see that the sort with the ascending order, or we can say it as descending order as well. L3 dot sort. You can see this. L3 dot sort in a descending order. What I can do, I can pass a reverse equal to true and L3. We can see this in ascending as well as in descending order. So this is how we have completed, guys, what exactly the list is all about, how we can create it, how we can access the elements from a list, and what are the built-in function from a list. So we have covered each and every built-in function, started from the append, clear, copy, count, extend, insert, index, pop, remove, reverse, and sort. So that's it for this video, guys. Let's see you in a coming videos, which is going to be tuple or tuple. Bye.